Yo, have you heard about Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, Marvel Superhero Edition. Today, we are giving you a Marvel update on what's been our thoughts on some movies that have come out, things to come, and almost to close out the rest of the year. Last time we were on, we talked all about DC fandom, but almost closing them out for the year. So now we're going to be talking some Marvel. We got the captain with us, Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good today.
That is good to hear. Last time that we talked about the MCU was September 2nd. That's when we talked about all the shows ending. At that point in time, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, was suing Disney. Disney called Shang-Chi an experiment. Just an update on those things. I'm pretty sure you guys already know. Scarlett and Disney, they settled. Obviously, Disney did not want that to go to Discovery. And also they want Scarlett Johansson to work for them in the future. So you don't want to burn any bridges. Of anyone who's had mentors tell you don't want to burn bridges. So that got settled. So she probably got the bag, and she's already up for other Disney roles. Shang-Chi, when they called that experiment, Shang-Chi broke a lot of box office records. It did really well. We saw it with the crew. Byron, what did you think of Shang-Chi? That came out all the way back.
I thought Shang-Chi was very excellent movie. The story is great. The cast chemistry was excellent. The fight scenes were amazing. And the set pieces were beautiful. Like you touched on, Bob Chapek, who's I think the head of the CEO right now, called this movie an experiment. And I just wanted to look up how much it made. To this date, it has made $427.3 million worldwide. I think the experiment was successful, Bob.
Yeah. No, man, it was a really good movie. And that movie also connected stuff in the current stuff. We're way past. I mean, the movie's going to be out on Disney Plus and digital soon, so we could say this stuff. The end credit scene of that movie of Wong getting Shang-Chi and then bringing them back. And then you see them, I think, in the Sanctum Supreme place in New York. And you have Bruce Banner and Captain Marvel. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I was very shocked. I was not expecting to see Wong in the end credit scene, or I don't know what they're setting up for the future, but they're like, the 10 Rings are sending a signal somewhere. We don't know where they're sending a signal to or who's it's sending to. So it's going to be interesting to see, who comes and answers that signal.
I was more shocked because Wong was in the movie. He was fighting Abomination.
Yes.
So I was more shocked seeing Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner.
True.
Especially because Bruce isn't Professor Hulk anymore. What is that?
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, he was Bruce Banner. He wasn't Professor Hulk. The whole point of Endgame, that 5 years was him perfecting Hulk. And so now he's can he transform at will and be sane? What's up with that? And you could see his arm was still in a sling from doing the snap.
Right. Yeah, I definitely missed Marvel. I mean, Captain Marvel was a shock because, she's always off-world. So to see her is a very good shock.
Yeah, which means this signal must be very important if she answered the phone call.
That's true. I thought they actually would have done more with Abomination. He was only in that one scene, and then him and Wong went off together. So it was interesting to see if Abomination comes back in Shang-Chi too.
True. Yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. Really enjoyed the action. It also showed if you have the right mix, Anime live action movies could happen and could work if you do it right. Shang-Chi showed that.
That is true because I mean, like I said, the set pieces are beautiful. They were in Chinatown in one scene, and that just it looked amazing. So, anime movies, you can't do it right, and like I said, we've always said representation matters. And this is a great movie with a lead Asian character as a superhero.
MCU movie that just came out this weekend that we all saw, the crew, The Eternals. Eternals just came out. We saw it on 11/4. Byron, what did you think of the Eternals movie?
Overall, I thought it was a good movie. I would give it 8 out of 10. It was sort of slow in some parts, but overall, I did like the action. I like the story. I really enjoyed the fight scenes. Gilgamesh and Makari were probably my two favorite Eternals. And then they, with the end credit scenes, they, do set up for the future. But props for Marvel. They accomplished some good things. Makari was a deaf superhero, and Phastos was an openly gay superhero. So they, got those representation matters. So good. Props to them.
Yeah, I was trying to see how far. I guess because it's only been 3 days, we're still in spoiler territory because it's still the opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we really can't talk about like post credit scenes and all that because I really got some things to say about that. But when I sat back and I really thought of it, I thought it was a good movie too. And when I sat back and thought about the movie and some people's like reasoning, because I guess it's like the first like score Rotten wise on Rotten Tomato, even though it's the number one movie at the more right now. But you have to think of it from a standpoint like this movie, obviously, I think anything post Thanos, post the war is going to be hit back a little bit, especially new heroes, because it's like, where have you been? So it's like your movie's 2.5 hours and you have to explain like origin stories for 10 heroes. Like there's 10 people on the Eternals team that you have to explain origin. You have to flesh them out, their personalities. You have to show what makes them tick. 10 heroes in a 2.5 hour thing. That's not even enough time to like get a connection with these characters. Look at phase 1, 6 heroes. It took almost 5 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was just like, I can get why it's slow because like it's trying to show you their past, bring you. So it's like, all right, this would happen in the past. This was happening in the future. I mean, current. This was going to happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that because I mean, we didn't know anything about these people.
True.
I mean, look at Captain, like a Captain Marvel, for example. 3, 4, 9. No, her entire movie was in the past. Her entire movie, except for the end credit scene. Like, it's not like where Black Panthers was current because Black Panther first debuted in Civil War. And then, like, they did this little origin right at the beginning. And then you're back in current times. Like, so they're establishing these new heroes. They gotta do the backstory. You have to. It's the origin story. It's their origin movie.
That's true. From that standpoint, I get it.
Just like the other new heroes will be coming. I mean, Blade, we're gonna have to get his origin. We're gonna be like, where have you been?
True.
Who else? Now, it's already been announced. Adam Warlock's gonna be. We're gonna have to. Well, we know we saw the girls making Adam in Guardians 2. Are they gonna continue that, or are they gonna completely forgot that they did that?
Well, I think James Gunn is directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so he'll continue the story.
Okay. So that was the other things, and then the biggest thing with Eternals, which you already brought up, having an openly gay character. In the movie too, this isn't that big of spoilers. He has a husband and a son. There's even a scene where he kisses his husband. This isn't big spoilery for the movie or anything like that. But honestly, man, that caused issues with places across the country that are not okay with that. Like Saudi Arabia, places like that. It's like, hey, we don't like gay. Like basically they're saying we don't like those type of things. So we're not going to show the movie. So that's why it kind of sucks because it's like you want to see how much it would really make in an opening weekend, even though I shared that it's the number one movie in the world right now.
Yeah, I think it's made 70 million, right? Like 70.3 million.
And it's not going to be shown in other parts of some places in the world because of that. So I guess then, Byron, like when you're in the exec boards at Disney, how much then do you really try to like? How much do you emphasize that type of representation over making more money? Because you know there's going to be arguments in those boardrooms about it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it does suck that it won't be shown everywhere because not everyone's cool with LGBTQ and all
Which is
that.
2021, which is wild.
Right. Yeah, but I think as a Disney exec, I think since it is 2021 and everyone is trying is being more open with the whole LGBTQ representation thing, I think you stick to your guns and you say this is a story you want to tell, and if you're not cool with that, that's on you. But we are going to embrace everyone as they are. So I think it's good on Disney / Marvel to keep that in and then not back down from it. And now if it continues to be the number one movie every weekend, then well, all right, we did good.
Sure. But yeah, Eternals, they answer the question, like in the commercials, they've been around for centuries. And they answer the question like, why didn't you guys fight Thanos? Haven't you helped in any conflicts? And they were forbidden. You finally see who forbade them. You see why they had to step out. And this movie, to me, honestly, it had a lot more plots and twists. Like I was not expecting who the final bad guys were going to be. Like there was some twist in that. I didn't expect like the things that were happening, fights, people losing, like possible deaths. I'm like, wow, this is a lot of twists and turns for their first movie.
Yeah, I was not expecting any of that. I knew like from the previews there was going to be like one main bad guy, but then like with the twists and turns, it's not anyone you ever would have expected. I think they put off the twist very well.
Yeah, they did. And also representation too. Ajax, who was played by Salim.
Selma Hayek.
Yeah, Selma Hayek. I mean, representation. She was the leader.
That's true.
So
Latina American. Yep.
And a female leader of the group.
Female. Yep.
So
and then, well, never mind. What I was about to say was about to be a spoiler.
Spoiler for the next line of leadership.
Yep.
But they also, Byron, I want to bring this up too, because this was from the first Eternals trailer. Then we actually saw the scene in theaters when they're eating. And one of them asks, now that Captain Rogers and Iron Man are gone, who's going to lead the Avengers now? And Icarus is like, he can lead them, and everyone just starts laughing. But again, man, this is another question. Like, who is really leading the Avengers now? Like, they're the Avengers. They're not, from now fighting Thanos, they're not just a world team anymore. They're a universal team. And for them not to see what was happening in the end and no one show up, that's kind of like, who's leading them? Like, who is making the calls? Who's at, I don't know if they rebuilt that Avengers compound they had that Thanos blew up, but if they did, who's there? Who's like making calls? Like, where is everyone?
That is a great question. Because like the different shows that we've seen so far,
which are all done now.
Yeah. Sam and Winter Soldier are somewhere. I don't know where they are. I think it was Louisiana, I think. Then we have Hawkeye coming out, so we see, where he's been.
That comes out actually good bringing that up because Hawkeye comes out in a couple of weeks.
Yep, November 24th.
And we are going to actually probably see some follow up from Black Widow.
Yep.
Because she thinks that Hawkeye is the reason Natasha's dead. So Elena.
Yeah, Helena. So it definitely brings up the question, like, who is leading them? I probably think it's probably going to end up being Captain Marvel.
I do too.
So we'll just have to finally see, like, when she comes back from her off-world activities, because we know that there's not going to be an Avengers movie in Phase 4, which is what we're in currently, and that ends in, I think, at either the end of 2022 or the end of 2023. And then we'll probably get another Avengers movie in Phase 5.
Which would be Avengers
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
So it's like, yeah, because I'm really just sitting there like, man, who's really leading? Like, there's no there's no Jarvis anymore. There's no Friday. Like who's like AI wise? I know they could probably. I mean, there was Edith, but like who's watching the threats and all of that stuff. And also, if you remember when Doctor Strange met Tony Stark at Infinity War, he's like protecting his reality. They were like, or when Doctor Strange met Thor, like they monitor all like cosmic threats and how Loki was at the top of the list. So where's Doctor Strange at? Like the huge final fight, like you have these big things coming through. Not trying to say who they were, not trying to spoil it, but it was like,
right,
Doctor Strange, your cauldron's not going off. Like,
yeah, it's about to be interesting to see because we'll see Doctor Strange again in Spider-Man,
which we'll be previewing after we're done talking about Eternals,
and then he gets his solo movie in February. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Doctor Strange, but as I've said in the last podcast, I don't think that's the actual Doctor Strange.
Hey, that's true. You did say that, but it's so weird because I'm really sitting there and it kind of gets. It's at a point too. It's like, also, what's an Avengers level threat? Because what was happening at the end of the movie and the stakes, me personally, that is an Avengers level threat.
Oh, that is definitely an Avengers level threat.
It's just also, is it a thing also where basing it off of Spider-Man Far From Home, that the real Nick Fury's in space on that ship? So is it because he's not there and he can't get these troops going, or like, because there's still heroes out. I mean, you still have Strange, you still have Wanda, you still have Spider-Man. I know Spider-Man, I guess, well, after this movie, he's dealing with a lot because of his secret identity being exposed, but you still have Falcon, Bucky on Earth. You still have all of Wakanda. Like, you still have people on Earth. Like, why are we not? There's Rhodey, who's like an OG, who he is getting his own show. So what's he like? There's some OGs here. So I was just so confused, like in this final fight, I was like, yeah, they could use like this is. I was just confused, like where they're bringing up the Avengers and all of that, and then no one's making a call. It was like, hey, the world's about to end. We should probably call them.
Yeah, I know. Like with like Marvel solo movies, they try to have it just with the character.
Yes,
but just looking at big picture, like, well, we have all these heroes. Like, maybe we should cross them over in some movies. So it'll be, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the future MCU movies.
Yeah, that's why it's one of those things. It's like, man, and we see who could potentially be the next threat for the Avengers at the end of this, and it's real interesting because is it the person we saw at the end of this movie? Is it going to be Kang the Conqueror? He's supposed to be in Ant-Man and Wasp 3. You saw him, a variant of him in Loki. So it's like
they're setting up some interesting future potential big threats. Kang, like the big bad of this movie. Eternals, like, is Adam Warlock going to just be a one and done with Guardians of the Galaxy? We'll see.
We'll see. And also with Eternals, last thing before we close on this, I did like the movie. I'll, as always, stay throughout the movie. There's actually 2 end credit scenes.
Yes, 2 very interesting end credits.
So we'll be on that. Next one, because we were just talking about it. The one that's going to, actually, before we go to that, another tie-in, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, came out in October. I actually waited until Halloween to see it because I always felt like Halloween is when Venom should have came out, especially with Carnage.
Yeah.
So I saw it on Halloween. You just saw it this week.
Yep, I saw it on Friday.
What did you think of that movie?
I think it was, overall, I thought it was a solid movie. I was expecting more fight scenes because I have that big final battle with him and Carnage. But they did have a couple action scenes where, you get to see Carnage in his full, for lack of a better word, Carnage. But I think overall, a very solid movie. Woody Harrelson did a better job as Cletus Cassidy than I thought he would. So props to him. So yeah, solid movie. I'll give it probably another 8 out of 10.
Yeah, the movie I would probably give it around a 7-ish. But then if you take the whole movie out, the end credit scene is probably one of the biggest end credit scenes we've had in the past 5 years.
Yes, I'm trying to think of what one was bigger than that. I can't think of anything.
In the past 5 years, maybe it was That's tough. Because you could think about the Captain Marvel end credit scene where she shows up at the Avengers house asking where's Fury, or Infinity War when he does the transmitter to Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man getting his secret identity exposed wasn't even in the end credits. That was in the movie, right?
No, I think that was an end credits thing.
Okay, so there could be that. Obviously, this Eternals one,
True.
but like 5 years, it's
Yeah, this might be the top.
because now since there has been time, which is a spoiler with the end credit scene with Venom, and when everyone I know I was avoiding it like the plague. I know Byron was too,
me too.
because Twitter, social media was just like, oh my effing goodness, that end credit scene in Venom just shut down the internet, and I just avoided everything Venom. So now we could talk about it. End credit scene is Eddie Brock and Venom. They're on a beach. You just see some crazy energies going, and then the TV changed from whatever they were watching, some soap opera thing, to then the Daily Bugle, Jonah Jameson talking about Peter Parker being Spider-Man. So they just got warped into the main MCU universe, and Venom's just like, that guy. And then sorry, I'm just like, we're like, oh my gosh. So, and you could tell with the way that went from the commercial, that was from the effects of Doctor Strange doing that spell in the previews for Spider-Man No Way Home. Like,
I didn't even pick up on that.
oh yeah, it's the same things. Like if you watch Doctor Strange doing like that spell and then it all switches like that, it's the same energy. That's how it all got warped in.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, this ending credits thing was wild. I was not expecting that. I know everyone's saying it's wild, whatever, but I was not expecting that. I thought they're going to introduce like some new character that's going to be in like Venom 3, but I was not expecting them to show that Venom and Spider-Man were in the same shared universe.
Now he's in the main Marvel universe.
Because I know in one of the Morbius trailers, I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, he was walking down a hallway, like an alleyway, and then on the alleyway there's some graffiti that says Spider-Man murderer.
Yep.
So now that they actually show it, it's just wild.
So that's what I was just saying. Yeah, man, you got Doctor Strange, like that spell affecting. That's what the Morbius trailer. Now everyone's like, so what universe is he in? Just the Sony one? Did he get warped into the main one too?
Because I think there's the first trailer. You see Michael Keaton, which you assume is Vulture, talking to him. So it looks like they're both in the main MCU universe.
Yeah, man. So that's gonna be wild. Because when I saw that energy, I was like, oh yeah, it's the same shit from Doctor Strange. So yeah, so we'll see, man. Like, and we talked about it too, where it's the fact that this movie ends the year. Like it ends the MCU stuff. We're gonna have Hawkeye in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna have this. And Morbius is it this year?
No, it's January, I think 22nd.
So maybe
January 28th of next year.
So maybe those commercials showing this murderer thing could have been a hint, like he's already been warped in, but we'll see in the movie. Hell, Morbius might be the end credit scene of the Spider-Man movie.
True.
But
or another Venom showing.
That is true too. But it's gonna be interesting, man, because this one, obviously we see a team up of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. And like Doctor Strange, like the line's like, hey, we saved half the universe together. You can call me by my first name. It's like, yeah, y'all did. Y'all should be calling each other. Like, y'all just saw Thanos come here. He's not the only bad guy in the universe. You should have lines of communication with each other.
Right.
So I just feel like that one's going to end Marvel on a bang. I know we talked about, I think a trailer is going to be coming around Thanksgiving a little bit later, maybe on Thanksgiving Day, to be honest. And you might said a little bit earlier, because the second trailer will be coming sooner or later.
Oh, yeah, it has to.
Because you have to have the second trailer and then the trailer that has the tickets on sale.
Yep, and then the fun. Yep. So usually with Marvel movies, they have 3 trailers. Like the first teaser trailer to get you hyped about the movie, and then the second trailer gets you more of the story without giving too much away, and then the final trailer has the ticket date. So I think because they've been very, very slow in building up the anticipation with these trailers. So I don't think, like I said, it'll probably be Thanksgiving week when they drop the second trailer.
Yeah. I'm so intrigued with this. Like, how are we going to do like it with his identity being exposed? Because Peter Parker, like we've said many times, Peter Parker operates like a DC superhero.
Mm-hmm.
He has a secret identity. He has a double life. Like the people he messes with, villain wise, if they knew who he was, they would F up his family and his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're seeing that his people are getting questioned, freaking interrogated like they're criminals in the police station.
Yeah, it's wild how they're going to do this movie. Like that is the number one thing. Like, how does he deal with that? And then the second one, from the first trailer, you see Doc Ock is in this movie. So then how, like, is it the spell that merges the multiverse, or is it what happened in Loki what messes up the multiverse?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true too. And it's like, it's weird too, because like, why is he in the jail though? Why is no one from Shield come and just took him out?
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all were just using him in the second movie. You're the reason his identity got exposed because you believe freaking what you call Mysterio.
Mm-hmm. Mysterio was because he said he was from the multiverse.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm just like, so Shield's not gonna come. Like the Starks aren't. Well, like Pepper is not just gonna send Happy. Happy's in this movie too, I believe, maybe. But I'm so curious on how they're gonna do it. I'm excited, man, because this is gonna be the one that ends the year.
Yeah, last MCU movie of the year.
And then I'll be so interested with the plots and twists that Hawkeye is gonna have with another Avenger passing on their legacy to someone else with Kate Bishop, and if she's gonna be worth it. If I guess I'm already gonna call her the new Black Widow, gonna be trying to kill him. Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, that I'm excited for the Hawkeye show. I think it's 6 episodes.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Because Winter Soldier was 6. Can't wait for
the
6
episodes.
Can't wait for the Byron TV show tweets.
Oh, you already know they're coming. I think this actually was 6 episodes. I think this ends.
Is it gonna end right before Spider-Man?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because the last episode is December 22nd, and I think Spider-Man is the 20. Might be the 17th. Let's see. 17th. So will end right after Spider-Man. The last episode is right after Spider-Man releases.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Shoot. That is really good to know. Last really thing what's superhero wise is video game wise. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy has come out too. I haven't played the game just because October. I try and only buy like one game a month, and the October game I bought was Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not really. How much time I'm gonna be putting into Guardians of the Galaxy when we got to do Strikers for the channel, got to do Avengers for the channel. I haven't even done Demon Slayer yet for the channel. So
right.
But I've heard really good things about it, so I'm happy about that. I'm happy about these Marvel games doing what they're doing. They're not taking the MCU approach. They're all in like different universes, which is different, which is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm happy with that. But Avengers, our game, Marvel's Avengers, they announced a whole bunch of stuff. And Byron, I'll let you take it away because you were able to watch it. I was driving.
So the big update is coming soon on November 30th. They are going to have the claw rate, which will increase the power level of the characters from 150 to 175. And then also they are going to drop the Spider-Man story on the same day. So we have 2 things to look forward to on the 30th. And then with also that, they just had a dev stream on Friday where they are basically revamping how the gear system works and how leveling up works. They're going from 4 resources to I think 3, or like 7 to 3. They're getting rid of 4 resources, and they're going to convert that to the resources they're going to be using going forward. And then with the gear, you can level up your current gear with other gear that you have. So like with a chess piece, you can upgrade it. I think epic above, from power level 100 to the new cap of 175 with your current gear pieces that you have. I'm understanding what they said correctly.
Yeah, with that, I mean, they're again, and they also took away the you could buy the stuff to level your people because they got a whole bunch of complaints. So they listen to their fans, man. Like no one can say that game does not listen. Like they're the only developers I know who truly listen to their fans.
I definitely agree because that I think it was a couple weeks ago they released this where you can buy consumables, get like fragments and XP boosts with real money, and like it caused a controversy within the community. I know like a lot of people on Twitter said they were going to stop playing the game, and then this week Crystal Dynamics / Square Enix came out and said and apologized and got rid of that. So they were listening to the fans and they got rid of it. So hopefully that'll bring the players that left back. But this is really good on them for listening to the fans and responding and, you know, taking that away and making their community happy. And I know with a lot of, I want to say with the gear update, I feel like that's also what the fans wanted as well. Because I know when they were doing the stream, a lot of people in the chat were very happy about the new gear system, how they were explaining it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dust that game off, get back into it. You know,
me too.
Get some combat in because I can't go in on September 30th. No, I'm sorry, November 30th. Go into something that is they've been deemed harder than the Omega level threat without playing.
Yeah,
that's just not going to be good because I'm not trying to embarrass us on the streams.
Oh, don't worry, probably even me.
But no, and like as soon as we left Eternals, man, I wanted to play Avengers because I'm like, hey, this stuff is coming in Eternals in their universe. We have the Kree still coming and ours, and they're still in. Like Spider-Man, like is so wild. I get why he's only going to be on PlayStation because Marvel's Spider-Man's only on PlayStation. I get that it's an exclusive to them, but story-wise, how much is that going to affect? Like, is the Xbox
story.
people? Yeah, is the Xbox people just going to have to watch it on YouTube and then randomly it's updated and there's like. That's the wild thing. Like Spider-Man, I saw he's going to be like trying to do stuff solo and then all that. So it's interesting to see what that story is gonna be.
So with them releasing the story, like I kind of feel that he's not going to join the Avengers team. Because if he does, then like Xbox players are like, well, what do I do? Because it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Unless they eventually say, okay, well, in so many months, we're going to release Spider-Man for the Xbox, which they could end up doing. But for like right now, it's like how much of this story affects the bigger story they've been telling with the game.
With the Kree.
Yeah.
Man, I'm already going to, what if the Kree were sent by the Celestials?
Dang, that would be something. Then we got to deal with the Kree and the Celestials.
Like I'm thinking about all the
take
stuff,
on a
man.
Celestial.
I know. I'm just thinking about the stuff. Like there's still Asgard. There's still so much to explore, and I think this is their last update of 2021, and then we'll go into 2022.
I believe so because I think their current roadmap is only updated for November 30th, unless they have something they're doing in December, which I don't know. But this is probably like the last major update of the year.
Man, that'll be 1 year, and then we're going into year 2.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see how I think the main thing about Spider-Man, I just want to see how he traverses because there's a lot of maps where there's just big open area with like no traversing those areas because his web has to attach to something.
I want to see how I want to see too. Like, I feel like his heroic assault move is going to be good. I don't even know what it is. His support move, I don't know. Is it going to be better than Black Panther with the Kimono beats? Probably not.
Probably not.
Like the ultimate, what's it going to be doing, right? Black Panther's ultimate is cool. And then if you upgrade it to the max, you get 2 Dora Milaje warriors with you. But I don't know. We'll see. Because right now, the past DLC people, I mean, Hawkeye still has the best ultimate.
Yeah, that arrow is just way too good.
Like Hawkeye, I think is the best one. And like Black Panther stuff's really good. Love playing with him. But it's the fact that Hawkeye heals you, to shoot the arrow up in the sky, and then when you see the blue squares, you know something's getting lit up.
Just keep fighting. And yeah, that's a great movie. You could like be fighting someone else and there's arrows just flying around hitting people. It's a great ultimate. I like Black Panther's ultimate as well. With
I do too.
To Dora Milaje. I just wish it would last longer. Maybe there's a perk I have to unlock for it to last longer. But I'm excited to see what Spider-Man does. I know in the next dev stream, we're going to be seeing costumes, and then hopefully the dev stream after that, we see gameplay of Spider-Man.
Well, that's about it. Spider-Man No Way Home comes out December 17th, right before Christmas. So you already know the 16th. That's when we'll be seeing it.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll be back at that time, basically wrapping up Marvel for the year, because we'll have our thoughts on the Claw DLC. I mean, if you want to see us playing it, obviously follow us on YouTube and Twitch. Double Screen is on there. So yeah, Byron, anything else before we close up today?
The only thing I would say, if you haven't seen Shang-Chi, it's coming out to Disney Plus on the 15th. Definitely check that out. If you haven't seen Venom or Eternals, check those out. They're definitely good movies to see. But like our number one fan, Patrick, said in one of our group chats, Marvel has been killing the box office this year. And I agree with that. They've been doing some really good movies. And then Hawkeye comes out on the 24th. So check that out as well.
Okay. And with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. We'll be back reviewing Spider-Man and the Marvel stuff in December. You guys take care.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.